Hi, my name is Mrs. Schomborn. I am your teacher. I wanted to show you how to do our next project using this platform so that you can go back and look at it again if you need to. So if you need to pause it or slow it down, you'll be able to do that. So once you get logged into your computer by pushing the guest button, you're going to have a screen that comes up similar to this. You should, no matter what, you should have this address bar up here. And this is called an address bar because we know exactly where we want to go. Here, this is a search engine, so it says search. This would be if I don't know where I want to go. So if I wanted to type up flamingos and I don't know where I want to go, I would type flamingos and then it would give me a bunch of websites that I could go to about flamingos. But for this lesson, I know exactly where I want to go. So I'm going to click up here to the address bar and I'm going to type in forms.google.com. And it will automatically bring me to here with the exception of if I am not signed in, which you guys won't be signed in, it's actually going to come to here. It's going to make you sign in. So once you get to this, you're going to type in your email. You have to type in the whole email. So as you notice here, it's got my first initial, my last name. Being a teacher, I don't have to have those two numbers. But then I have the at lhsd.k12.oh.us. LHSD stands for Logan Hawking School District. K-12 stands for we have grades kindergarten through 12. OH is Ohio, and US is the United States. So if you ever forget that, you can kind of try to remember it like that. Logan Hawking School District, K-12 school in Ohio in the United States. So, and I do have papers with your emails on them in case you need them. We're going to push next. You'll type in your computer password, type next, and then you will see this. Now, Google Forms have many different uses. It's not just for one particular thing. As you can see here, I have several up here. I've got a quiz. I've got a community sign-in. So when people come to an activity that I'm doing, I make them sign in. There's some more quizzes. This one is a self-grade. So my 7th graders, after they finish a project, they have to tell me how they did. We've got exit tickets, worksheets. I did a worksheet here. So there's all kinds of things that we can do with, oh, here's one it's a sign up thing. So there's all kinds of things we can do with a Google form. Now, today we're going to start with something really simple, really easy, and that's called a survey. So all we have to do is click this button right here. I'm not going to click it again just because I've already opened one and I don't want a whole bunch of empty ones in there. But you're going to click this. Once you click it, it's going to come up and it's going to look much like this except for no title. Okay, so it won't have a title. It'll look just like this. We always want to give our projects a title because it's would be a lot easier to find them if we know what we're looking for. So if you remember on the page before where I showed you I had a quiz or a sign in or whatever, it was really easy for me to be able to find those. So if I want to name this form, let's just name this form 6th grade technology class. Okay, so I've named this form right here. If I come up here and I click, it automatically takes whatever I have here and it puts it up here. So that's great. So we don't have to remember to do that. For our form description, you don't have to always put a description, but sometimes it's nice. So my description for this one is learning about Google Forms. Okay. That way, if I open it back up, I can see what it is that I'm doing. So if you notice right here, it says untitled question. That's where our first question is going to go. A lot of times, the best first question that we can have is your name. So we'll type name there, and then it automatically, as you notice, switched to a short answer text because it notices that someone's going to have to type something of their own answer there. Okay, so that's what that is. We have different options over here. If you're going to write a lot of stuff, like there's an essay or something that you have to write, you would click on paragraph. But if it's just one or two words, then we're going to click short answer. We do have a choice for multiple choice, check boxes, drop downs, all kinds of other things. But for this particular question, we're going to go with this. Down here, this means I can duplicate this question. So if I click it, it just brings the question right down here. So maybe up here I wanted first name, and then down here I want last name. Okay. Normally we don't use this duplication button too often, just because our questions are usually different. This is the delete button, so I can click on this and it will take this away. This is required. So no matter what you're doing on this, you can make this a required question. So anytime you do a form and you definitely want someone to answer that question, you can push this button to make it required. Now, if you're doing a survey and you don't really care to know the person's name or whatever, you can always turn this off and they can answer the rest of the questions without tracking who they are. And a lot of times when you're doing a survey, people don't like to give their actual names, but that's okay. All right, so now we're here. Now I'm going to add a question. So if I want to add a question, I'm just going to click on this plus sign right here. And then my next question is going to be something about this tech class. So what could we put? What is your favorite thing to do on a computer? Okay, so I can leave this short answer and let someone type it, or I can click multiple choice here and add my options. So maybe play games. What else do you think? Play games, typing practice. Maybe we want to do type a paper. Maybe we want to draw or make things, make printable things, things that we can be printed. Ooh. Okay, so now I can look down here and I can require the question. If I don't like the question, I can delete it. I could duplicate the question, and maybe I want all of these same answers here, but my question's different and I could duplicate it, but I'm not going to do that for now. So right now I'm going to click up here. I'm going to push add another question. And this question is going to be, do you like working on computers? Okay. So right here, it even gives you choices. So I can just click add all and it'll give me my yes, no, maybe. So now let's see. I've got my name, my first name, my last name. What's your favorite thing to do on a computer? And then do you like working on computers? Well, maybe this question here should come up before here because it just makes more sense. So I'm just going to drag this up, move it up here. Do you like working on computers? What is your favorite thing? Then, what is your favorite thing to do on a computer? And then we can add another question. This question, let's do check boxes. That means they can answer more than one question. If you could, what would you like? Okay, sorry, let's do this. What game or games do you like best on the computer? Okay, so then maybe they need to choose one. So marble, glass, I don't know some of the other games you guys play. Um, there's one that's like Minecraft, um, simulation. Oh, I'm not sure. So now what the person could do is they can actually see up here, if it's a circle, you can only choose one answer. But here, if it's a square, I can choose more than one answer. Okay, so it's not really letting me choose right now because I'm actually making uh, the form, but that's okay. Okay, so this is how we make a form, and these are the types of questions that we can put on there. I'm going to put one more on here, and I'm going to change this to a drop-down box. Was this lesson helpful so far? Okay. Now I'm going to add my yes, no's, and maybes. So now when you see this, it will be more of a drop down. So once you're finished with your quiz or your survey or whatever it is, you're going to come up here. We can click on responses up here, and we don't have any responses yet, but we will here in a few seconds, and I'll show you how that looks. Then over here, settings, we don't really want to make this a quiz because there's no right or wrong answers. My responses, you can collect email addresses if you wish to, but you don't have to. This one here is kind of important because it says restrict to users in Logan Hawking schools and its trusted organizations. That means only people in the Logan Hawking School District can use this survey. Okay, so then there's form defaults down here. And again, we're not collecting those, but this one says make questions required by default. So mine's always turned on that way. I don't have to worry about making them that way. So now what I can do is I can come up here and I can send my survey to someone. So all I have to do is, if you know their email, you can type their email in here. If you don't know their email, then you can click on this link right here, and it turns it into a link, and then we can shorten it. Now I'm going to copy it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in your Google Classroom so that you can take it. Okay, so this is 6th grade Google Classroom, and I'm going to click here where it says add link, and I'm going to paste that, add link. Here in a second, it'll load up, and then I have to type in here, link for survey lesson. Okay, now it gives me the option to post. So I'm going to go ahead and post that. And when we're finished here, I'm going to have you go ahead and go in and click on that link. So I'm going to click on it so you can see what it looks like. Okay, my first name. So I'm going to put Mrs. Schonborn. Do you like working on computers? I do. What is your favorite thing to do on computers? I like to make things on my computer. I'm going to put other because I don't really care to play games too much on there. Was this lesson helpful? I'm going to push yes, and then I'm going to push submit. So now we'll have a now we're going to have a response. And see, as soon as you get a response, the number 1 comes up here. So I can go to this response, and I can look at it, and I can look at it in like a graph setting. Okay. I can come up here to the question and look at each question individually to see what they answer. I can come over here to individual, and then you can see what each person put for theirs. Okay. So this was just a quick, simple, easy lesson. We will move on from this lesson and talk about other types of forms that we can do in the next couple of days. But today, what I want you to do when I'm finished on here is you're going to go back and you're going to click on that form that I made in your Google Classroom, and you're going to answer those questions the best you can. After that, I'm going to have you, well, we'll talk about that later. Sorry about that. So, I hope you found this interesting and helpful, and I will see you here in a little bit.